What is good? What is good? Welcome to the Pro Wrestling Shoot. Join with me today, Bryan Williams, gameplay dev for visual concepts and WWE games. What is good, man?
What's up, Jesse? Good to see you, brother. I
Yeah, man.
I love your opening. You and
Uh,
Conrad have some of the coolest show openings.
I appreciate that, man.
Get you hyped.
A little behind the scenes, man. That was actually my old guitar player from my old metal band that did that opening for me,
Oh
man.
yeah,
Shout out Chase McClendon, man. He did all that for me.
did
But
good work, Chase.
yeah, man. Yeah, all for free too, dude. What a swell guy. Hey, man, I know that you've been asked a lot of questions about universe mode and everything else. We're gonna run up some gameplay questions for you here. I think that the guys asked everything that they wanted to in those ones, so I'm gonna hit you up with some gameplay stuff that we might not know about WWE 2K25.
All right, let's go.
All right, man. Hey, so with championship matches this year, can we expect to see the title on a podium outside the ring like we do on WWE television?
Fortunately, no.
No.
Unfortunately, no. Yeah, it's
Did you
coming
guys think
though.
about it? I
Oh,
was
of
gonna say,
course.
did you
Yeah,
guys think
yeah,
about it?
yeah, yeah. It's coming. We had discussions about that last year and this year. It's one of those things we really need to get back to having the championship titles present, whether at on the podium, which is ideal because that's what they do now, or even just having them like back in the old days. They would just be on the timekeeper
Yeah.
area where you could just pick one up. Um,
Speaking of that, can we use the ring bell finally? Is that a thing now?
no,
Oh
fortunately not.
man.
Yeah,
Okay. I figured I'd ask about those two, man, because I
yeah.
know that's been asked about quite a bit in the community.
Trust me, they're on the list.
All
They're on
right,
the
cool,
list.
man. Cool. Hey guys, for everybody sending super chats, chill it out for a little bit. We might be limited on super chats. We got to be generous of everybody's time behind the scenes and on the screen. So, yeah, if I can't get to everybody's super chat, I apologize, but we will get to some. Uh, so, seen a picture, and I don't know if it was just a mess up or not, but there was like what seemed to be a broken ladder in the middle of the ring during the showcase trailer. Weapon physics, man. I talked to you off air about SmackDown versus Raw 2011 all the time.
2011. Yeah.
It's my baby. It's my baby. I want weapons physics back, dude. Is there any sign for it? Because normally we can slam. I feel like we can slam wrestlers onto weapons in 2K24, 2K25.
Yeah.
I think I've seen a little bit of it, but the wrestlers don't react quite as much as like they would on a SmackDown versus Raw 2011, and the weapons don't really make a sound effect as opposed to like, well, they do when you got the ladder bridge set up and you got the tables,
Yeah.
but other than that, they don't really react to anything. Is that in talks with the team at all?
Yeah, I definitely want to get back to the weapon physics that we had in SmackDown versus Raw 2011. Because, like you mentioned, we've discussed it. Just
Goated.
yeah. I mean, it was a great game. It was one of those games I think, yeah, at the time that it came out, it didn't get a lot of the love that I think it should have gotten. But over the years, people go back and they look at that and it's like, wow, this was really incredible what we were able to accomplish with the weapons, like just the improvisational feel of just
Every
how they're
match felt new,
used.
man.
Yeah, yeah. So, we are gonna definitely get back to that um, at some point. But to compare those two games, I mean, it's just vastly different in terms of the infrastructure, especially now, right? Now that the game is in, VC's hands, you know, a lot of that stuff I mean, that was years ago, right? More than a decade ago. That stuff's all gone. So we definitely would like to take it or to tailor it more towards that. It's just going to take some time, but it's definitely one of the things that I think as a team, we definitely are aiming for to just have a little bit more, not even a little bit, but a lot more, just kind of a free flowing improvisational feel to not only how you use the weapons, but as you mentioned, like how the weapon just being in the ring impacts the moves that you do. Slamming
Yes.
somebody on a ladder and having them like kind of
Yeah.
have that different cell of outside of just whatever the cell baked into that move. It's like, oh my god, like wow, he hit a ladder and you
He
know
reacted.
he reacts to it.
Yes.
So we're making improvements year over year, but yeah, we definitely are aiming to get to that level of fidelity when it comes to our weapon physics again.
Absolutely, man. I think that the graphics have definitely taken a step forward in the game. Even the hair physics have gotten a lot better. I would say. I mean, you guys are
Yeah.
slowly making that jump to next gen only, which personally I enjoy that because I'm a next gen guy. But so I'm gonna kind of steal a page out of just Brian's book. He did ask you something towards the end, but I'm gonna switch it up just a little bit. And this is sort of a softball question for you. Are there any hidden gems that are stuck to certain superstars this year, like Dragon Lee pulling down the knee pad last year? It's those little quality of life features to me that really brought authenticity to each character that
Yeah.
they had. And yeah, is there anything like that that we can expect in WWE 2K25?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I mean, there are small things. I mean, we brought back, Lauren the Singlet uh last year.
Yes,
Like
thank God. I love that.
animated attire is what we refer to that internally. So I know that Damian Priest, he because he's been pulling his straps down for a while now.
Yes.
And so we captured a new motion for him. So Damian can lower his straps, um, as well as a couple others. Like on the top of my head, I'm just trying to think because our roster is so big. Uh,
Great roster this year, by the way.
oh, thank you.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought so too.
Those
Yeah.
legends, man, hit me in the feels.
Oh yeah, which ones in particular?
All the Samoans, man. The whole
Yeah.
bloodline dynasty is in there, man. I love it.
Yeah, they look great. One of the things that I really wanted to get in that I didn't, speaking of like kind of like Easter eggy type things, is like when you headbutt the Samoan, I wanted there to be that reaction where it hurts the attacker
Oh,
versus them. You know what I mean? Like we
yeah.
weren't able to get it in, but
Oh, I was gonna say.
it's just one of those cool spots that you would see. Even Jay did it not that long ago, where I forget who tried to headbutt Jay Uso, and he kind of just no sold it. And the other guy was like, "Oh," like it just backfired on him.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
it's
love,
sort of like the Giants thing that you incorporated this year a little bit more.
yeah, and the Giants, yeah, which is great. It's a brand new archetype that, uh, yeah, like these guys play differently. They've got a shield around their health bar that you have to whittle down in order to kind of defeat them. Which it just for me as someone who is a fan of pro wrestling, obviously, and who enjoys playing the game that I work on. I love what the team did. Shout out to my coworker Brandon. It was his initiative of creating this giant archetype because it's like it now completely changes what it is to face someone like an Andre or an Omos. Guys who are built and wrestle like these giants. Like it's almost like a little mini boss fight. Like you've got to kind of get them down, take away their shields in order for them to you know to get that victory. It just adds a nice uh little wrinkle to gameplay that wasn't there before.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So this one's also another softball for you, but we heard a lot about deep cuts within the WWE music library being in WWE 2K25. Can we get any more clarification on that? Like, what does deep cuts mean to the WWE music library? I think it was referring to maybe just some old school entrance music that might be in there, like Drew McIntyre, Broken Dreams, certain hidden gems.
I hadn't heard that before. Where was this in one of our press releases or something?
Yes. Yeah, so
Oh yeah.
it was on one of the I do believe it was on one of the ringside reports.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I am not sure what they are referring to by that.
Okay.
Yeah. So sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. So this one I have to ask it every year. And I know that this is probably the only question that is not your wheelhouse, but you might have an answer.
Give it to me.
For Creation Suite, are we still at 100 cost slots, 1,000 logo limits?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I got that question earlier from Matt. And yeah, yes, we're still at that. But again, as I told him, and I'll tell you guys, I mean, look, 100, and maybe it's just because I'm getting old, man. 45 years old. I remember a day when I was working on this franchise where I think the max number of created characters you could have was 30. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
we got it up to 50, and now we're at 100. Obviously, I know people. It's almost like capitalism. More is more.
Yeah.
If you made this amount this year, you got to make more the next year. So I understand the want from the fans that they're tired of the 100 cap. We'll look to see if we can increase that. But 100 is still a lot. Like it's
So
100 is
I
still a
sit
lot.
Brother, I said this last year and got cooked. All right, because I'm not I'm not a creator, but a lot of these creators out there that use the 100 cost slots, it's because they're making multiple attires, and you have to
Attires,
use
right?
up a new slot each and every time that you want to upload something. So I get their perspective. Like
I do too.
if
I really, I do too.
if you're using it in that way, then yeah, it's probably not enough now, but definitely would love to see that increased in the future. And the logo limits, man, the logo limits are I really want to see that increase because I don't even download 100 characters, but I will hit that logo cap easily if I
Yeah.
download characters with maxed out logos. You know what I mean?
You know,
But
like I said, I mean, I'll bring it back to the team, to the create team,
that'd be
see
great,
what they
man.
say. But yeah, I mean, and look, the thing is, like, we do listen to the fans, right? I know this is one of those things, one of the areas of the game that even last year when I was talking with you, I think you asked me the same question about
Yep.
have we
I'm all,
increased?
I always
Yeah,
got to break the bad news.
yeah. So, well, no, but it's a great question. I mean, you're asking a question that the fans want to know, and so we get to a point where it's like, look, because we're making the game for WWE and for y'all. Like, this is what we are all doing, and we want to do our best to make both of y'all happy, and so it's our job to do that. And so yeah, we'll see what we can do to raise that limit, especially with when it comes to the number of created characters, as well as like you said, increasing the logo limits and everything.
Awesome, brother. Hey, this one goes back to gameplay. So with the blood enhancements over the last couple of years, which are fantastic, by the way, and women can now get color in the game.
Yeah.
The blood is all over the mat, and now we have the body bruising. Is there any chance that we see body cuts in the future from slamming somebody onto a pan of glass like we've seen in the NXT parking lot this year, or even the addition of thumbtacks later on in the franchise?
Yeah, I think so. In the thumbtacks, we've been talking about that for a while now, and I think once we solve that nut, crack that nut, that's the perfect opportunity to then go into, as you pointed out, getting scarring, bleeding on the back, the chest, the arms, even.
Yeah.
I think those, introducing that as a weapon, obviously it's just like peanut butter and jelly. It coincides with bleeding on the bodies as opposed to just the face. So it is something that we are, hoping to eventually get to sooner rather than later. So yeah, I would just say, we hear you, and it's something that we want to do, in as well, especially just having thumbtacks in the game. I know I worked on it, but it sticks in my craw that that the AEW game has one over on us when it comes to the thumbtacks, and I don't like that. So
Gotta fix it, man.
we'll
Make
get
it
it in there. We'll get it in there.
right.
We're gonna make it right.
I appreciate you, brother. Hey, with the ladder matches and special guest ref getting a major update this year, are there any other match types that are getting some good upgrades that stand out to you, like Hell in a Cell cage match? Is there any new little hidden gems within these matches? Because cage match has been the same for
Yeah.
years at this point, and Hell in a Cell has pretty much stayed the same as well. Is there anything that stands out within the older match types within the game that is new this year?
I don't think. I mean, we always do our best to touch up all the match types. So I don't think there's anything that I can point to that is going to be front facing for like a user. Like, they may not notice any difference, but like in the back end, we've done things to make improvements to those matches. Uh, you mentioned the ladder match, right? Like, we've got a new
Ladder match
mini
looks
game
great this year.
for
Yes.
that. And then a lot in terms of the matches, like you said, the ladder, the underground was a big kind of lift for us, and a lot of our time and resources went to standing that match type up.
Very
Which,
different.
yeah, very different. And you look at the rule set, and it's like, oh well, it seems pretty easy. I mean, it's like there's no ropes. It's you win by knockout or tap out. But it was a lot of effort that had to go into that, specifically just trying to get and figure out the spectators that are at ringside, getting them to behave right, to look right, as well as the lighting, because the underground has a whole different presentation. In terms of the lighting of the arena, it's darker, it's a little kind of grimier.
And you can use it
Um,
on any arena, right? Like the
yeah,
WrestleMania
yeah,
domes, all that stuff.
and that was the thing too, where it was like, well, are we going to make this match just like bake it into its own arena, or are we going to make it available elsewhere? And we were like, well, if we can make this just usable everywhere. I mean, that's the ideal, right? And we're like, yeah.
Yeah.
So just going in and figuring out ways that we can incorporate that while maintaining the aesthetic of the underground, the lighting, and everything, and great. I think he's a designer engineer, Jeff, who works on the environments. Came up with these overrides that are enabled anytime you take the underground into a specific arena. It'll override whatever the normal lighting and all that is, and to give it the underground feel, as well as the intros. Like the intros are different. Um, I don't know how familiar you do. You watch a lot of NXT or probably not, right?
I watch a lot of clips. I don't. So obviously we
Yeah.
go live during NXT at the
Okay,
same
that's what I
time.
thought.
So I do check like the highlights out from NXT afterwards and all that, but I'm not like a regular viewer of NXT
All
every
right.
Tuesday.
So you all right? So yeah. So because like the underground, it's got its own special, unique entrance. So it's like what we do with war games, where the first part of the superstars entrance is their normal entrance, and then when they get to ringside, we've got it cuts away. We have an underground specific motion of having the wrestler get into the ring without the ropes. We've got heel babyface motions. We got one specifically for characters like the Undertaker. Um, but the intros, like, there's no ring announcement until both superstars are in the ring, and that was something because I'm like, if I'm gonna do a thing, I want it to be as authentic to programming as possible. And so, replicating that aspect of the match was something that, I mean, we got it done, but it was like just a lot. It took a lot of time to get everything right and looking the way that it is. So I'm hopeful that fans dig it. I think it's probably the most accessible match type that we have because it's more like a fighter, like a fighting type game than anything,
Right.
where you basically just beat the crap out of your opponent until they're knocked out. And we do have a new knockout mechanic uh, that we came up with also. That is not just
Nice.
used in underground, but just used anywhere knockouts are being used. So we made a lot of cool things, and we've got brand new taunts. There are
Is
taunts
that
that
the,
are
is that the
made.
danger meter that you're talking about? The
It
new
is,
mechanic?
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
That is a
yeah,
nice little addition.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, go ahead.
No, so I mean, you said that there's not too many of the new upgrades for the old match types, but I got a war games question for you. Can we run the war games arena with 2 rings without the cage? Like, does it have to
No,
still be the war games match?
yeah, it still has to be the War Games match. I want to get there too. Like your head's exactly where mine's at with that.
Okay.
I'd love to see that made available as just another venue that you can fight in, which is what they've done on Pro, like in NXT or even like when they had the last War Games match. The rings are there. You know what I mean? It's like you're fighting in. You may be the wrestlers are confined to one ring, but that second ring is there too, just waiting for that
Right.
main event of the war game. So I would love for us to be able to get to the point where we can support just that environment minus the cage. I think I as you can probably tell from my love of the underground match, I love finding new ways that we can mess around with the environments for the matches. Just give us something
Right.
kind of new and unique that's different from your standard ring. Which I love the standard ring, but at the same time, it's cool to throw in some of these other wrinkles and stuff.
Absolutely, man. So this next question was coming from JCSJ, man, and he just really brought this up, and I wanted to ask it about the paybacks. They've been getting pretty creative lately. Is there any chance that we could see a payback where you get the Eddie Guerrero tossing the chair, falling asleep, getting somebody to get DQ'd? Is
I
it
thought
is that a
I
possibility?
I mean, like anything's a possibility. I was trying to crack that nut uh last year when we came up with some paybacks. I would love
Okay.
to get that in there. Like that's just trying to figure out a clever way, whether it's even I mean, even taking whether it's a payback or just a mechanic that a player could do in the game. I would love for us to get to that point. It's such a classic spot. I mean, Eddie
Yeah,
made it famous, but other people have used it too.
absolutely.
So yeah, trust me, it's on the forefront of my mind, and I love to see, and not just that, but just again, it goes back to the discussion we had about the weapons, right? Where just having a weapon and just being more free to do with it what you want. You know what I mean? Where I'm, it'd be great if we could do this without it even having to be some long kind of uninterruptible like scene where it was just something. Hey, I got a chair. I'm gonna tap the button to lightly throw it your way, and you catch it. If the ref sees it like organically, you can just kind of create those moments without having to hit a button and then you're just watching it. If we can get to a
Yeah.
point where we can just do it through the flow of natural gameplay, that'd be freaking awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great. So I got a couple more questions for me, and then I'd like to get a couple of super chats in, if that's all right with you. So one of them, this is for the diva stands out there. Obviously, you got to ask this question: is there more mini skirts, fur boots, things like that? New patterns within the creation suite.
I know that we always the create team always adds new content to Custom Superstar. As someone who doesn't work uh, closely with that team, I don't know the parts that have been added, but I mean we always add new parts and everything. Not to say, and that in addition to all of the parts that are added to Kaz just by the addition of new roster members to the roster. So uh,
Okay.
yeah, there might be some fur in there. Yeah, I always get the fur question with the boots, but
Yeah. So story designer wasn't announced this year, but is it in there?
in 2K25.
Yeah.
No. If story designer was back, trust me, you would have known by now. Like
Are we getting
that would.
close?
Uh, yeah, sure.
All right.
We're getting there. We're getting
There we
there.
go, man. There we go. This first super chat comes from Ripolata VFX. Will Create an Arena be getting some love this year? Fixed apron textures, LED barrier walls, new stage sets. We'll rapid fire some of these because I know time is
Uh,
sensitive.
I mean, everything in the game gets love each year. I'm not sure exactly what the fixed apron textures are. I'm assuming there's maybe some bugs in 2K24.
Yeah, I think that's what
Uh,
he was talking
but
about
yeah, I
was
mean,
the bug.
yeah, there'll be new parts for sure. Stage sets. Yeah, I mean, just because I mean, I think a lot of any new arenas that we have for like showcase, I think some of those get converted into custom arena parts. So it'll be a mix, and I hope you like it.
Just Alex says, just asking Brian if the dev team for Create a Wrestler are aware on Twitter, the WWE 2K Discord. A lot of COD makers are asking for body morphing to come back to Create a Wrestler, WWE 2K25.
Yeah, we hear you. I do not believe that has made a return in 2K25, unfortunately.
All righty. Aaron Thompson said, will there be a patch for New Day's Heeltrons?
You have to wait and see on that.
All
There's a
right.
lot of there are a lot of things that have recently happened within the WWE that we are going to try and push through post release.
Lee Valentine says, can 2K25 wigs, face, body templates, miniskirt, Christie live style, Molina fur boots, and Diva streetwear be added to the island? We also
Uh,
need Beach Brawl Arena where we can
yeah,
fight in sand and water.
I don't know. That second one might be in the island. I'm not entirely sure,
The
but yeah, the
beach one?
island had this. Yeah, it could be. I mean, I'm not. The island is its own separate team. I'm not exactly sure. I've seen some of their venues, and I know there are some that are like on near water. I'm not sure if there's one on the beach though.
Okay. 35 Antonio says, are there any additions to accessibility auto run towards opponents? One button shortcuts for actions like finishers, move randomizer. Second, can we finally do regular rivalry actions on pay-per-views and minor shows in universe mode?
Yeah. So as someone who doesn't spend a lot of time with the universe and work with that team, I don't have an answer for that universe. So I'm sorry, Antonio. And what was the other one? Shit,
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that.
uh,
There we go.
oh, the accessibility. Um, just we are looking for ways to like accessibility features are at the front of our minds. So that's all I can say at the moment. Yeah, just know that we are thinking about ways to these because it's becoming a really big thing in gaming. So we want to follow suit.
All right. I'm going to get a couple more questions, guys, and then we're going to wrap up. Sorry, apologies, but time is of the essence. Obviously, we've went over some time, and it's been a long day for these guys. So we're going to wrap up here pretty soon. But Legendary Yobi says, question, welcome back, Brian. I was wondering in the future if it's possible for the team to tie CAW/logo slots to the space on your drive, which I believe will grant us more space.
Yeah, I've heard this before, and I think that's what Fire Pro does. Um, I'm not sure how. I mean, I'm not an engineer. I really couldn't say as far as like how that if that is possible, but I can definitely bring it back to the team to see.
All righty. Area says, give us barbed wire extreme match and as a match type as we can expect to see Bella, or can we expect to see the Bellas or Nikki Bella back in WWE 2K25?
Never say never to that last part of your question. Barbed wire extreme match. Be fun to have. We'll see. It always helps when we add a new match type is if the WWE has actually ever, done one. So, maybe one day they will, but yeah.
All right, guys, I am being told to wrap it up. So I'm gonna throw one more question out there, and that's gonna wrap up for us tonight. Well, I guess it's two questions from the champ. Which superstars have alternate personas? Hoping for the legend killer Randy Orton or chosen one McIntyre with their old themes. Are superstars that returned like Cora and Alexa updated? Like a
These personas are my faction related,
yeah,
and it's not on me to
nope.
disclose their plans. I do know that they've got some really cool stuff coming down the pipeline for 25, so just stay tuned. And
Personas are returning. They did announce that personas are returning.
yeah,
So
they are. And like I said, I know the team, they've got a lot of cool stuff that they're working on. So yeah, if you're a fan of those, you'll be pleasantly surprised or pleased for sure. And the superstars that return late, like Cora and Alexa updated. Unfortunately, not. Uh, you know, and that again, that's one of the things where things happen late in the development cycle. People will come back from injury. When I saw Alexa come back at the Royal Rumble, I almost had I just threw my arms up. I was like, God damn it. I was like, why? But
yeah,
yeah, it's
you
just,
were you were on live. You were on the live stream with me.
yeah, that's
With
right. I
Lemonette,
was.
like,
Yeah.
dang
I
it.
was like, gosh dang it. you know but yeah, it is what it is, where we do our best to be as current as we can, but obviously when people are injured, uh we don't have access to them, and when they come back, if it's too late, it's just like, dang it. But she still looks good, in the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So 2K has granted me permission to go ahead and announce it. I will be at Creator Fest. I can't disclose any more than that, but I will be at Creator Fest, and I'll see you there, Brian. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview. Thank you so much to 2K for allowing, just Brian, EPW the time, and myself as well.
Wait, is it called Creator Fest now or Community Day?
Creator Fest.
Oh, it's been rebranded. Okay, well, either way, I will see you on Tuesday, brother.
Yes, sir. Well, I didn't say that, but now you did.
Oh, well, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, hey, thank you so much, brother. Love you, and we will do this again, hopefully in the future.
Thank you, bro. Love you too, dog.
All right. Take it easy, guys.